Prisoner. Cali police ordered to arrest and detain Harry during government court over his fake visa. The U.S. government will appear in court next week to answer questions about Prince Harry's visa application after a conservative think tank demanded that it be unsealed, given his admitted drug use. The Department of Homeland Security will face off on June 6 against the Heritage Foundation, which filed a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit earlier in the month to compel the agency to release the Duke of Sussex's immigration records, arguing that they are of immense public interest. So far, the U.S. government has refused to make the 38-year-old royal's visa application public. Niall Gardiner, director of the Margaret Thatcher Center for Freedom at the Heritage Foundation, tweeted Tuesday that the hearing will be in D.C. federal court and open to the press. The U.S. government will appear in court next week to answer questions about Prince Harry's visa application. Quote, "It significantly raises the stakes here," he told The Telegraph. "I think that so far the Biden administration has been stonewalling the freedom. Any foreign national seeking to obtain a U.S. visa or permanent resident status is required to answer questions about their past drug use. Under U.S. immigration law, a visa applicant who was determined to be a drug abuser is deemed inadmissible, although immigration officials are allowed to make exceptions." In his best-selling tell-all memoir, Spare, as well as in multiple TV interviews promoting the book, Prince Harry came clean about using cocaine, marijuana, and even psychedelic mushrooms. Quote, "Widespread and continuous media coverage has surfaced in the question of whether DHS properly admitted the Duke of Sussex in light of the fact that he has publicly admitted to the essential elements of a number of drug offenses. The think tank also questioned whether the Duke of Sussex's immigration status in the U.S. should be reconsidered. Harry and his wife, Meghan Markle, moved to the U.S. in March 2020 after stepping down as senior royals. Sources close to Harry have previously said he answered questions on his application seeking a U.S. visa truthfully. The Heritage Foundation argued that it is in the public interest to know exactly what Prince Harry wrote in his application and how it was handled by the Biden administration. Did DHS in fact look the other way, play favorites, or fail to appropriately respond to any potential false statements by Prince Harry? The think tank said in a statement on Tuesday. The conservative Heritage Foundation is taking the federal government to court in an effort to get records related to Prince Harry's U.S. visa application, questioning whether the DHS acted properly. The Heritage Foundation and DHS officials will appear in federal court next week after the think tank filed a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit earlier in the month to force the release of the prince's immigration records, given the widespread public and press interest on the specific issue of whether DHS acted and is acting appropriately as regards to the Duke of Sussex. In its complaint, the Heritage Foundation sought to compel the production of information related to DHS's decision to admit the Duke into the U.S. Widespread and continuous media coverage has surfaced that questions whether the DHS properly admitted the Duke of Sussex in light of the fact that he is publicly admitted to doing drugs. U.S. law generally renders such a person inadmissible for entry into the U.S. Intense media coverage has also surfaced the question of whether DHS may have improperly granted the Duke of Sussex a waiver to enter the country on a non-immigrant visa, given his history of admissions to the essential elements of drug offenses.